All right, we've got space weather. We've got an incoming coronal hole magnetic field. We've got an increased earthquake risk as a result for the next 24 hours, especially sooner as opposed to later, as this magnetic connection is on its way to reaching its maximum. And we have a new segment. Let's start with the new segment. The new segment is information about your host, Smash-O-Mash, which is me. I am a real human. Check us out on Minds, minds.com/Smash-O-Mash, because some of the information we put up will not appear on YouTube. We have been censored. Anyway, the information you may not know about me, since this is the first segment, will include two different tidbits. The first tidbit is that I do not live in Antarctica. This says I'm in McMurdo Station. The Facebook page says I live at Vostok, Antarctica. It's not really true. That's just because I didn't want to divulge my location. So there's fact number one. Fact number two is, where did the name come from? Well, while recovering from an injury in 1999, I started multiplayer gaming, and it's basically just an arbitrary gaming name that I have played under a lot, as well as administering message boards and game servers from about 2004 until the last couple years, at least. Also, check out our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Smash-O-Mash, for more interesting information. So back to the coronal hole. Looking at the magnetic lines, it's clear to see that this one is about to connect, and it's probably already connecting. We're going to look at the data in one moment. Let's take a look at sunspot 2723 in the 304 angstroms view. Some filaments, a little bit of flaring, which we have seen reflected in the data. And the sunspot looks like it's weakened a little bit. Just keep in mind that the angle that the ejecta come out of these things and the radiation is usually at an angle. So just because it's not facing Earth, don't rule out the possibility of more X-ray flaring and so on. Take a look at the last 48 hours and 171 angstroms. Get a look at that sunspot. Again, keep in mind the main story here is the magnetic connection to the coronal hole. We are going to quakes.globalincidentmap.com now. We like to use this in addition to the USGS app, just to verify. We see we've got a few in the 5 range over the past 8 hours. 4.6 in Alaska, which is big for Alaska. 5.3 in Solomon Islands. 4.9 in New Zealand. That's pretty big for New Zealand lately. We got a blot echo in Russia. That's very rare. So we're looking for a 7+ magnitude probably in the next 12 hours, maybe 6 hours, but the alert should last at least 24 hours. Also a 5.0 in Indonesia. Let's move on to the space weather data at spaceweathernews.com. See a little bit of X-ray flaring activity, but nothing outside the B range for the last 36 hours. Now, we are expecting the phi angle to get around maybe 160 around this area, and we don't see that happening yet. It happened yesterday for a while, but it kind of fluctuated around. So when that coronal hole magnetic field connects, that phi angle should become flat right around this area. And when that starts to happen and the magnetometer starts to rise up at the same time, that's when our earthquake risk is going to max out. Here's your current magnetometer. It's in a fairly smooth and normal range. KP index has been between 0 and 1 for the last day, so cosmic ray flux increase. And the electron flux is flat. We are expecting that to drop off soon because the coronal hole wind stream from the previous coronal hole should be arriving within about 12 hours also. So there's a lot of different activity happening. And here's your ionosphere layer. It's looking a little bit on the charged side. So, the story is the coronal hole. Be safe, have a disaster plan, because there's a lot of different stuff happening at the same time. And with a low KP index, it's an indication that the magnetic field is weak at the same time, which means small perturbations can cause giant disasters. Thanks for tuning in.